God damn, I need a shave. We're recording. Hello, this is KaisaJesta, and I'm here to talk about Becoming the Smooth Criminal, which a few of you may have seen. I put the trailer on the Documentary Productions account yesterday, and I kind of want to give a little background as to what that is, because Becoming the Smooth Criminal is my first feature-length film. It ran for about 95 minutes. And it's not going to be released for the public. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. I'm just going to give you some context as to what it's all about. I got a freaking spot here. Sorry. Becoming a Smooth Criminal was really a film that wasn't meant to come around. The context is I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, and I like to consider myself a dancer. At least way back when, in 2011. So, for my last year at school, I wanted to hold a Michael Jackson tribute show as part of my school's leavers assembly for the highest year. And I went through all the proper procedures, and I got the gig. And I pretty much took the Michael Jackson approach with this, in that I recorded my rehearsals in order to view them back and see where I could improve. And they were pretty much just meant for that. It was not meant for general release. It was pretty much destined to be part of my archive, and that was it. So yeah, these tapes were originally meant to fade into obscurity in my video archive. But alas, that show was cancelled really last second. And so well, I was pissed. I was really, really pissed. And I was hurt and betrayed and all that jazz. And because of that, a very, very, very quick reaction was, I'm going to release these tapes and show all the people, what I was going to do. But then I realized that no one really would have cared about it, so I kind of gave that up. About a week after I started looking through it. Plus, I was just starting college, and I wanted this brand new start. So I wanted to just completely disassociate myself from school, because it was such a hellish time for me. There was so much abuse and bullying. I mean, I openly suffer with depression, and that was easily the year that impacted my life the most when it comes to depression. So I wanted to completely forget about that. God, my head's a mess. Sorry, I should have prepared myself better for this. So I wanted to forget about it, and then around Christmas time I got into contact with my best friend Thomas Fitzjohn, who's known as Eternus on the Grand Kerry Productions scheme and on Twitter, and we were talking because he moved to Canada after our last year at school, so that was a pretty sad thing to see happen. And I finally managed to get back in contact with him around December time of 2011, and it was then that I started to look through those tapes again, and I saw that really the greater context of those tapes was the friendship that me and Tom had. The fact that he was someone who, always stuck with me when it came to the show, and he knew that it was social suicide, and he still kept me going along with it, because he knew it was something not only that I wanted to do, that's something I had to do. Because it wasn't for the people at school, it was for Michael Jackson through and through. Because that guy changed my life, completely, and I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So looking through those tapes and kind of talking with him about it kind of dawned on me that this was a story, you know, even though people probably would have been interested, I had to get out. So I started working on it in January 2012. But then the depression and such, it all kind of dawned on me, just thinking, like, God, this was such a horrible time. What am I doing looking at these tapes? You know, it's untold misery. The context, the whole wider context of these tapes is of unbridled misery and unbridled pain. So after that, I recorded full commentary for that. I recorded like an hour and a half of commentary, just letting the camera roll, blabbering on about that entire school year for this project. I just completely scrapped it because I was not in a place to deal with it at that point. So I let it rest for a few months. Then I started and completed the first film for the Kerry Productions, which was Operation Walrus, our great send-up to the great voice actor Mike Pollock, and bad films in general, Z films, you know, the great work of Ed Wood, you know, a film made on the cheap, made in hours, literally hours. And it's a classic bad film with bad acting. It was a lot of fun to make, and I'm still pretty proud of it. And it was after that I became familiar with editing software, and you know, and during the break between college and exam season, I began thinking, well, the tapes are still there. They're still there on my laptop. I think I probably should be doing something with them sometime soon. If I'm not going to work on them, I should put them on an external hard drive and forget about them. So I looked through the tapes, and slightly against my better judgment, I guess, I decided to work on the film again. I had pretty much the whole idea of what the film was going to be from the outset, and I spent that was pretty much my entire summer project working on that film. And to be honest, I got the bulk of it done in that summer. I remember I pretty much had it completely finished by maybe the 5th of September 2012. I remember that because that's when I went to the Bad 25 premiere on the 2nd of September, the London premiere of the documentary Bad 25, and I met John Branca, who is the co-executor of Michael Jackson's estate, and it was a nice time. It was a nice time. But yeah, I remember it was around that time, slightly after. And again, college beckoned, and stuff happened, as it always does. So it once again got put on the back burner, and I was infrequently polishing it. It became a time when I got the main bulk of it done, the whole body of it was finished, but there's still a lot of polishing to be done on it. And there was a time, you know, pretty much throughout the first half of college, which I didn't even want to look at it, because it consumed so much of my life at that point, and it was such a horrible topic to delve back into. I mean, it was a very emotionally taxing thing to go back through those tapes and piece this whole story together. This story about really how my depression just spiraled out of control, and yeah, it was hell to think about. But I committed myself to finishing it around Christmas time, 2012. And it completely took over my life at that point, to the point where I was sleeping on my recliner in the early hours of the morning, doing little tweaks, tiny perfectionist tweaks to the film, waiting 10 hours for it to render, to have a finished product, only to go through it again and see there's one little thing wrong with it, and then just to start the whole thing over again. The whole 10-hour process of finding that one thing, correcting it, and then letting it render. And I was sleeping on the recliner chair for the better part of a month, and I actually got really bad trapped nerves in my leg because of that. Waking up wasn't fun during those times. But eventually I managed to get it finished. Not at Christmas, because it came another point where I had it mostly finished, and then I didn't want to think about it for a couple of months. But I managed to eventually get it finished around March or April time of this year. And I had it pressed into several DVDs and sent it off to people around the world. People that had, been part of this story since the beginning, and other people who have shown their support about this film and what it was all about. To the point where there's only one copy that's currently in the UK, and the rest are all around the world. And the one copy isn't actually it isn't actually at my house or anything. It's actually lost somewhere. I can't remember. I think it's probably lost in the post somewhere. It might turn up eventually one day. But funny enough, I was going to make myself a copy of the film on DVD, but I'm still at that point now where I don't even want to think about that film anymore. I got a new laptop since then, and all the files flares on my new laptop. I haven't got a single file on this current laptop from that film because I don't even want to think about it anymore. I wanted to make a copy for myself, but I don't even want to explore that side of me anymore. But as to why I'm not releasing this film on the internet. A, it has a lot of licensed music, which, because it's Michael Jackson, obviously it's almost completely filled with Michael Jackson music. And I don't want to run into any troubles with Sony Music or the Michael Jackson estate on the grounds of this film. So until, I'm far richer to acquire certain allowances to have this film publicly released, it's pretty much going to stay dormant. And the second reason is, again, it's a deeply personal project. I mean, people would be able to know me quite well if they watched this film. They'd be able to know, what I'm all about, and just a lot of what I've dealt with. It sounds pretentious, I know, it sounds pretentious that, I'm just a tragic character, or anything, but people do, from the people that have seen this film, they have said that they have got a bigger insight into the kind of person I am through watching it. And to be honest, I'm kind of scared about putting that kind of unguarded transparency on the internet. So until the foreseeable future, that film's not going to be released, but it is in the Tokarev Productions canon. It is the first feature-length film. Operation Walrus is the first film altogether, though. But anyway, that was just to clear up any queries we may have, all two of you who subscribe. And this is KaisaJesta with terrible hair and a couple of spots, signing out.